Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
The lodge smelled like baked beans, citronella, and overcooked ribs. Laughter bounced off the log walls. Kids zigzagged under folding tables with juice boxes, and somewhere out back, someone was butchering "Go Your Own Way" on a Bluetooth speaker. I stood at the entrance, unsure why I'd come. But then someone waved. Aunt Jan hugged me too tightly. Dad actually smiled. For the first time in years, I let hope rise in my chest like a shy balloon. My brother Victor strolled in late, of course. White button-down rolled at the sleeves, that stupid knowing grin. He was a pro at effortless charm. My mother practically lit up. Marin, his wife, handed Mom a frame wrapped in tissue. I noticed it in passing, didn't think twice. I had brought something too. A quiet gesture. A prepaid reservation for Mom and Dad at that little French bistro they always sighed about, but never went to. I slipped the card beneath their dinner plate. That's how the night was supposed to go. Easy, silent, safe. But then Victor stood. Someone handed him a microphone. Why? I still don't know. He gave a sheepish chuckle. Didn't plan on speaking, he said, which meant he absolutely had. I just want to honor the two people who gave us everything, Victor said. You've always been there for us and Mom, Dad. I love you. He handed them the frame. A college. Photos of birthdays, barbecues, snow-dusted holidays. Them, him, and Marin. I wasn't in a single one. Mom stood, wine glass lifted high. This, she declared, pointing to Victor, is the child who's always loved us. She paused. Then, sharper, the other one. She's never lifted a finger. Claps. A soft awe. Then silence. Dense, pulsing silence. I didn't look at anyone. Didn't wait for someone to defend me. I picked up my purse and walked straight out into the night. No one followed. Not even Dad. 2 hours later, I was parked on a dark country road, hands locked on the steering wheel, replaying every rent check, medical bill, late night transfer. 7 years. $133,000. Invisible. And now finally, done pretending. Late in the evening, I was sitting in my kitchen at home. Robe wrapped tight, coffee gone cold, laptop open. One by one, I logged into every account I'd once tied to theirs. Electricity. Cancelled. Water. Cancelled. Auto pay for Mom's car insurance. Deleted. The cabin reservation in Blue Ridge they were all excited about next week. Gone. I hovered over the joint credit card I'd let Victor use just for groceries when he got laid off 3 years ago. He'd never paid a cent. I smiled grimly and hit terminate. The next morning, my phone was a crime scene. 43 missed calls, all screaming red. Most were from Victor. A few from Mom. One from Dad, oddly timed at 3:47 a.m. I didn't answer any of them. By noon, the texts turned aggressive. Victor. What the hell are you doing? The cabin won't let us check in. Victor. Mom says you canceled the electric. We're in the dark, Melissa. Victor. Answer your fate o' me. It rang then, vibrating violently across the counter. I let it ring once, twice. On the third, I picked up. Melissa? Victor's voice cracked. Okay, we need to talk. You mean now that your ATM has a voice? Don't be dramatic. Mom was just caught up in the moment. She said I never lifted a finger, I said flatly. Want me to list them? Melissa, it's not the time. I've been covering their mortgage buffer for 2 years. I paid for Dad's dental implants. I even bailed Mom out when her account was overdrawn buying gift baskets for her book club. He was silent. $133,000, Victor. 7 years. And you all clapped like I was the wallpaper. You didn't have to. I know, I cut in. And now I'm not. I hung up. That afternoon, I returned their spare house key by mail. No note, just the key taped to a slip of paper that read, "For the locks I should have changed long ago." Then I poured myself a glass of wine, sank into the couch, and let the quiet finally mean something. It wasn't revenge yet. Not quite, but it was the beginning. By the third day, they were on my doorstep. I watched through the peephole as Victor stood stiff, arms folded, and Mom adjusted her oversized sunglasses like they could hide the guilt. I opened the door but didn't move aside. "Melissa, sweetheart," Mom began, voice syrupy. "Can we talk? Just for a moment?" I let them in wordless. They sat on the edge of the couch like they were in a stranger's home, which in a way they were now. I handed them a neatly printed spreadsheet and dropped into the armchair across from them. "What's this?" Victor asked. "Everything I've paid, down to the dollar. I thought maybe seeing it might jog your memories." Mom's lips thinned. Victor's eyes scanned the page. "You kept track," he muttered. "I had to. IRS doesn't care if my generosity was invisible." The total at the bottom read, $133,247.19. "I didn't realize," Mom said softly. "You never said anything." "That's the point," I replied. "You praised Victor for loving the family while I was the one holding the roof up. Literally. And now you act shocked that I stepped away." Victor's jaw clenched. "You humiliated us. You canceled all our payments. What are we supposed to do now?" "Oh, you don't know. You'll have to figure it out for yourselves." I smiled coldly. "Welcome to adulthood." Mom sighed as if she were the one burdened. "People online are starting to talk, Melissa. You aired Family Matters." My brows lifted. "You mean after you called me cold on Facebook?" "Funny. My post just had receipts. Literal ones." Victor stood. "This is petty." "No, this is liberation." I stood too. "There's the door." They left without another word. I closed it behind them, locked it, and walked back to my desk. This time, I opened a blank Word document and titled it, "The Family That Forgot." I wasn't done yet. The world needed to hear the truth on my terms. The final knock came 5 days later. I was sipping coffee in silence, my phone long silenced and stashed away, when the sound echoed like a drumbeat through the stillness of my apartment. Not a message, not a call, a knock. When I opened the door, it was Dad. He looked smaller than I remembered, creased, tired, and dressed like he'd grabbed whatever clothes were nearest. "Hey, Liz," he murmured, using the nickname I hadn't heard in years. I didn't answer. He took that as permission and stepped in slowly. "I didn't know," he said. "Your mom, she didn't tell me how much you'd done." I stayed silent. My silence was becoming my loudest voice. I went through her emails. He chuckled bitterly. "Your name was on every utility bill, every credit card auto payment. I even saw your name on the deed. When we were about to lose the house, I signed as a guarantor," I said flatly. "They would have foreclosed if I hadn't." He sank into a chair, rubbing his temples. "Victor's unraveling. Can't keep up with anything. Your mother's blaming me now. And the house? We've listed it." I inhaled sharply but said nothing. "We were wrong. All of us. We leaned on you until you broke and didn't even notice." His voice cracked. "I just came to say I'm sorry." I looked at him, really looked. This wasn't the man who had stood beside my mother when she publicly erased me. This was a man broken by the truth he'd ignored for too long. "I appreciate the apology," I said, calm but steady. "But I'm done fixing things that aren't mine to fix." He nodded, slowly stood, and walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned back. "You deserved better than what we gave you." "I know," I whispered. The door clicked shut behind him. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I simply slept, for the first time in years, with no debts to carry but my own. I didn't disappear overnight, but piece by piece, I became unreachable. I changed my number, deleted my social media, and moved across the city into a quiet apartment with no forwarding address. To my family, I had become a ghost. 2 months passed before I received a single message, sent from a new account I didn't recognize. "Please, Melissa. Mom cries every night. Victor's seeing a therapist. We didn't realize what we did until you left. It seems that it was Dad." I stared at the screen, unmoved. The guilt they now felt was not mine to soothe. Victor eventually moved out, overwhelmed by the responsibilities I used to shoulder, and our parents downsized after selling the house I had helped save them. In fact, it wasn't about revenge, it was about release. One afternoon, I sat at a cafe, watching a mother and daughter laugh over shared cake. I should have felt bitter, but strangely I didn't. I felt weightless. "Excuse me," the barista said. "Are you Melissa?" I hesitated. then smiled softly, not anymore. I left a generous tip, walked into the golden light of the afternoon, and never looked back. In my family's story, I had vanished. But in my own story, I had finally appeared.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.